Well, good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's just afternoon time here on the East Coast on this Wednesday, September 7th, 2024, and we're still looking at Tropical Storm Debby. Debby actually has increased a little bit in its intensity. Winds of now 60 miles per hour as found by a hurricane reconnaissance flight. That's primarily happening in this area here, right around this thunderstorm here that's going on. That has generated some strong winds. The other storms that are rotating around the center here do have strong winds with it as well, but in the like 40 to 45 mile per hour range. We're watching this very closely, but not much more intensification is expected over the next 12 to 24 hours. As a matter of fact, the storm is forecast to make a little bit turn from the east-northeast towards the north to make landfall again in coastal South Carolina. Again, winds are not that strong, really confined to this area of the storm, but we're going to be monitoring it very closely. The big impact continues to be rainfall and flooding rainfall that has been going on in South Carolina. We have had numerous reports of rainfall totals of 10 to 15 inches in Charleston, South Carolina, also down towards Beaufort, South Carolina, 10 to 15 inches, down towards the Savannah, Georgia area, 8 to 10 inches of rain. And that rainfall threat will continue over the next day or so. Not as much to the southern part of the storm, but I do want to show you the satellite loop, and I'm going to take this full just so you can see what's going on. It's very interesting. You can see this thunderstorm that's blown up around the center of the storm that's rotating around. I'm going to lift this satellite image up just a little bit because I've combined two satellite sectors again. I did this yesterday and found it very fascinating that we can monitor the dry air that's around the storm. Whenever dry air gets into or entrained into a storm, a hurricane or tropical storm, it tends to dry it out a little bit. And that makes sense, right? So you can see the dry air coming around and then being entrained into the storm. And that is why we see this clear area to the north and the south. The center of the storm is right around in here. And so that's what we watch for intensification. Thunderstorms developing around that center, and we're not seeing any explosive development of thunderstorms. This one is a pretty strong one here. But what I also want to point out is the southerly wind on the eastern edge of the hurricane. The winds are from the south, and look at it pushing this moisture up into coastal and eastern North Carolina here. There's another outer band that's going to be pushing up into central, northeast central North Carolina around the Raleigh area. This is going to produce flooding rains today in eastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, and parts of southern Virginia as well. So the flood threat remains today in South Carolina because the storm is basically stationary, moving very, very slowly, about 6 miles per hour. But you can see these flare-ups of thunderstorms, and that drops intense rainfall. Anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain per hour could fall out of these storms. But generally speaking, look at the moisture push. It's working its way up into eastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, even the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay and the eastern shore of Maryland. Are going to see increased chances for rain, particularly in thunderstorms. There are thunderstorms that are developing on Maryland's eastern shore right now. I want to show you GeoCollaborate too, because this is where what I've done here today is display the chance of heavy rain in a 3-day period. So this is day 1 today, tomorrow, Thursday, and into Friday. Where are the areas that are most likely to flood because of intense rainfall? And this is what we see here. We see the intense rainfall in South Carolina, coastal South Carolina here, and that will continue for the next 2 days. But then as the storm is forecast to move up the Piedmont and the coastal areas of South Carolina into central North Carolina, into Virginia and the West Virginia mountains across western Maryland, you can see this whole area will be prone to flooding over the next 3 days. And so that's something that we need to monitor very closely, because if there are any crews that are staging in areas to respond, we've had severe weather in Ohio yesterday, so crews are responding from Michigan and Pennsylvania and West Virginia and other locations into Ohio. Do not stage your vehicles in low-lying areas that are prone to flooding. And so as the path of the storm moves up on Friday, it looks like we have a significant chance for flooding in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Hampshire, and also Vermont as well. The yellow area here outlines probability, a likelihood of flooding as well. The biggest threats are in the center here in pink and red. But as the storm moves up as a tropical storm, then it will be making a transition to a post-tropical depression, which doesn't mean too much for precipitation, because either way, tropical or post-tropical, intense rainfall can be produced, and that's why we have this flooding threat over the next 3 days. So we'll be monitoring it very closely over the next couple of days. We do have that chance of intense rainfall again today in the Carolinas, particularly moving to the north in central and eastern North Carolina, and also in southern and southeastern Virginia. So this is Dave Jones producing this video for the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, so we can share this with state liaisons, and they can share it with private sector partners to keep them updated on what's happening and what's expected to happen here in the weather area. And we'll be bringing you another update over the next probably 24 hours or so. Next scheduled one is at noon tomorrow. If conditions change, we can always do another update, or if requested by any of the members of the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Fleet Response Working Group. So that's it for now. We'll keep you posted. I'm Dave Jones. Thanks for watching.